welcome to the first episode of Behind the Music with Madeleine Kate. I am your host and only person on most of these episodes, Madeleine Kate. One thing about me, I'm the baddest alive. No, I'm not. That's a lie. This podcast is kind of just like a fun hobby for me, and I don't know, maybe it's a little narcissistic, but that's okay because most entertainers have a little bit of narcissism in them. But I figured I would make this podcast because I'd have fun with it. Maybe I could listen to it when I was older. Maybe people that liked my music could listen to it and gather some stories. Because when I was younger, and even now, my favorite thing ever is listening to songwriters talk about the stories behind their songs. Because I think it brings a lot more personal edge and you get to know them better. You get to hear more than a 3-minute snippet. So that's basically what this is going to be about. Now, I'm going to have some episodes where I have some guests that have been featured in songs that maybe have helped me write songs, just friends. I mean, no rules, really. This is Behind the Music. Most episodes' titles are going to be the song that I'm talking about. I might also do some episodes where I talk about the album as a whole. Let me know. And I also like to celebrate some on here. I think that would be fun. I have some big plans in the works. Right now, I have a mixtape out called That Girl You Used to Know. I wrote those songs when I was 19 and 20. I'm 26 now. Also, if you don't know me, go check out my Spotify. I'm going to link every episode. So I'm using this platform called Anchor. And they're actually made by Spotify for podcasters, so you can link songs directly to the episodes in Spotify. So I'm going to be using that feature. I'll talk about the song, and then it'll play at the end if you've never heard it. But I have that mixtape out. I wrote those songs at 1920. I released that in 2020, so almost 3 years ago, 2.5. There were some years in between, I will admit that. And then last year in May 2022, I released a 13-song album called Resilient. Now, I produced both these myself, and there's some people, mostly around Nashville, they're like, yeah, we can tell. Okay, I know. I'd never claimed to be a award-winning producer. I'm learning as I go, and I think it's a lot of fun. Also, it's a lot more cost-effective. Shout out to my poor musicians out there. But I'm really proud of my work, and my favorite part of all of it is songwriting. It's kind of how I process everything. I started just writing with my emotions when I was a kid, because I was a really anxious, shy kid. So whenever I was going through anything, I didn't want to bother anybody with it, which now, LOL, now I literally blast my problems out to the world in music. But whatever. That's just how life goes. But I started writing in elementary school. I'd be mad at my friend or something, like some elementary school issue, and write it down. And then that became poetry. I think in 6th grade was a big thing when I started writing my feelings into poems. Because we started learning in school about poetry in 6th grade, and also my obsession with Taylor Swift started when I was in the 5th grade with her debut album in 2006. That's a little bit of time ago now. But yeah, that's when I started writing, and I started playing guitar when I was in the 5th grade. And we had one guitar teacher in my whole town that I grew up in. And he actually stopped giving lessons because he wasn't making enough money doing it and had to make a living. Shout out John Danner for anybody that knows him. He's an awesome dude, and he really inspired that love of music for me at an early age. So I had a few lessons before he quit. So I kind of played around all through high school, but when I got more serious about my guitar playing was in college. I actually took a guitar class because Belmont University is High School Musical in real life, but as a university. And that was one of my classes my freshman year. And then I started taking private lessons through Belmont as an elective. and I got a little bit better at it. I still say that I'm a strummer. Like a I like I can do some picking. Okay, people that aren't musicians don't know what I'm talking about and they don't care. But basically learned how to play guitar so I could write songs. That's the deal. I love singing, I love songwriting. So when I was a freshman in college, I started dabbling in songwriting. Finally, I was putting my poetry mixed with melodies and music. And the summer after my freshman year of college, I went through a lot. We'll get more into that with the songs. And I wrote for the first time. I sat and I just wrote all summer. That's all I did was play my guitar and write songs. And I had such a great time doing it. And I got better at it. And then years later, I wrote the Resilient album while I was working retail during a pandemic, and I was just in a miserable part of life. Like, I was going through a lot mentally, and that's okay to admit. I think I'm better at admitting it when I'm past it than when I'm in it. But I was going through a lot. I mean, a lot. And that's how I survived it. I had this weird period where I was like, maybe I shouldn't even songwrite. And I really lost myself, I'm not gonna lie, for a little bit. And I wrote to understand things, which I guess is kind of where it all stems from. And still to this day, even a happy song, I'm writing to understand something I'm going through. So, yeah, I have 2 out right now. I have a single out called Love Goes On. That'll be the next episode. We'll dive into that one because that's my most recent work. And if you are listening to this podcast, here's some news that I'm not going to announce for a while. But I will be having another album come out soon. I don't really know when. I have maybe all of it written. I have 12 songs written that I love. Now, a lot of people are like, that's enough. Like, that's enough slices. Like that TikTok audio, sorry. But, I don't know. I love writing. That's my favorite part of it. So I feel like I have a good amount of different things, and I'm really proud of it. I honestly think it's my best work that I've done. It's an album about healing and being in a happy part of your life, which I think is also important to talk about. There's always a rainbow after the storm, kind of thing. And my friend Kelsey also says that my songwriting's better than ever before, so if you don't trust her, trust me. I mean, if you don't trust me, trust her, because she doesn't lie. She's not a person that lies. So it's exciting. But I really hope that you'll stick around, get to know me better if you already know me, or get to know me, period, if you don't know me. Pretty laid back. I think I'm funny. If you don't know me, I am a 26-year-old that lives right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. My vibe is like, it changes every album, I swear. But this next one is more like folk. I'd say that I'm like a folk rock not sensation. That's being a little too arrogant. But I'm like folk rock. So you're like, what is that? Think like John Mellencamp, REM, like some of Dolly Parton's work. Stevie Nicks. I've been compared to Stevie Nicks, which the highlight of my life. That was an amazing comparison, especially since we both have bangs. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. It's really hard to do a podcast by yourself because I don't have anybody to talk to. But maybe that's good. I'm talking to you, even though I don't know who you are, or if you're even listening, maybe you fell asleep because I bored you to death. But I hope you stick around, and let's go on this journey of behind the music together.